Today, I wanted to talk about how the Chicago Bears are winning free agency by not overspending. We live in a microwave society where people seek instant gratification constantly. Fans have short memories. They forget how we got into the awful position we were in when Ryan Poles took over in the first place. They ignore how overpaying free agents hurts the salary cap and doesn't equate to wins in the NFL. We've been through it. But yet a large portion of our fan base and the media are upset that Ryan Poles hasn't made enough splash signings. I've seen fans calling out some of Ryan Poles' free agent signings from the last 2 years. But let's take a look at that. Byron Pringle, Dante Pettis, Lucas Patrick, Nicholas Morrow, Deontay Foreman, Equanimous St. Brown, even Justin Jones and Rasheem Green. The problem is, not a single one of those contracts was an overpay. And not a single one of those contracts are we paying a big dead cap hit for right now. That's the biggest point people are missing. The Bears have $10 million in dead cap hits this year. $9.98 million of that is from Eddie Jackson and Cody Whitehair. Two more contracts that were written by Ryan Pace. Meanwhile, Poles structures his contracts differently. He does not overpay or backload contracts. He keeps the future of this franchise as flexible as possible. Ryan Pace did the opposite. In 2022, the Chicago Bears had dead cap hits of $84.9 million, all from Ryan Pace. That's just what Poles inherited. And then in 2023, we had a dead cap hit of $23.51 million, and Poles has knocked that down to just $10 million this year. And then finally, next year, in 2025, Ryan Poles will have finally rid himself of all the bad contracts that he inherited when he took the job. That's next year, in 2025. Ryan Poles was hired in 2022, and it's going to take him 3 full seasons to get rid of the messy contracts and bad overpays that littered this entire roster when he took the job. Yet for some reason, fans are clamoring for Poles to go out into free agency and overpay and do the same things that Ryan Pace did to put us in this mess. That is pure nonsense. Ryan Poles isn't spending stupidly. Let's take a look at the big contracts he has signed. He signed Montez Sweat. That guy is an all-pro and one of the better pass rushers in the NFL. But even his contract, 4 years, $98 million, was a much better deal than what Khalil Mack got years earlier. It's front-loaded. Ryan Poles is paying the big guaranteed money right up front. He's not pushing things down the road. Poles makes the contract more friendly in the future and gives himself opportunities to get out of his contracts without having to take those crazy dead cap hit figures. It's pure genius. He did the same thing with Jalen Johnson's contract as well. 4 years, $76 million. He gave him $20 million up front, $43 million guaranteed, and almost half the guarantees are given to him right up front. His huge dead cap hits come in the first 2 years of the contract instead of the last 2. It's just a completely different way to structure deals, and possibly that's a reason why Cliff Stein is no longer around as well. Continuing on, Cole Kmet's contract was also very cap-friendly. Tremaine Edmunds' contract looked big, but it has an out after this season and was also front-loaded. The other linebacker, TJ Edwards, he signed a massive value contract that only has 1 more year left of guaranteed money. Again, Ryan Poles can get out of that contract next year if he wants to without a problem. Nate Davis might be the worst-looking contract we have on paper. 3 years, $30 million. And quite frankly, he was just bad last year, but he's not a bad player. Hopefully he can bounce back, but if he doesn't, Ryan Poles has structured the contract in a way to protect himself and get out of the deal without any dead cap hits. That's the opposite of what Ryan Pace did. Look at how Eddie Jackson and Cody Whitehair's contracts were structured. They were backloaded with huge cap hits and big dead cap hit numbers towards the end of their contracts, And also, those guys were over the age of 30 when they got those giant cap hits. Ryan Poles has not structured a single deal anywhere close to that. But Ryan Pace liked to push his troubles into the future. That's simply not how Poles operates. We can get out of Nate Davis's contract after this season and save $10 million with just a minimal dead cap hit. Nate Davis also has zero guaranteed money in year 3, same way he did TJ Edwards' deal. He even did DeAndre Swift's deal that way. No guaranteed money in year 3, it's front loaded. And then look at the Andrew Billings deal. It's similar, very cap friendly. And then Ryan Poles got nice values with both Kevin Byard and Gerald Everett. On top of that, everyone forgets, seeing all these free agents out there, those guys are free agents because their teams and their general manager couldn't get them signed to long-term deals. So in that regard, you can't ignore that Ryan Poles was able to lock up one of the best young cornerbacks in the entire NFL on a great contract. He's locked up both Jalen Johnson and Montez Sweat long-term, not allowing those guys to hit free agency. That matters too, and you have to take that into account. The bottom line here is that Ryan Poles operates a completely different way than Ryan Pace did. He loves building through the draft, not overspending in free agency, and rewarding his homegrown players. That process takes time, and overspending in free agency is never going to be the way he operates. I love the way that Ryan Poles structures deals, and just the way he operates when it comes to free agency and the NFL draft. He's building a complete roster. He looks at the entire picture, and he thinks things through. And you have to do that to be a great GM in the NFL. If you're not looking at the whole picture, then you're being short-sighted. And that's what a lot of fans are doing right now. They just want Ryan Poles to sign everyone. I'm so glad he didn't go after Calvin Ridley. 4 years, $90 million for a receiver that's 29 years old? No thank you. Not when we have the best draft class of wide receivers that I've ever seen in my life. Championship teams are not built in March. They are built in April through the NFL draft. And Ryan Poles has told us all along, starting from day one, how he was going to build this team. Most of my subscribers on this channel already understand this, but for some reason the national media and the local media are still having a hard time catching on. That's why I believe you guys are the best Chicago Bears fans in the world and understand that Ryan Poles is doing things the right way. I applaud him for that, and it just makes me even more excited for this team's future. Stay tuned, guys. I have tons more content on the way. We could have news breaking anytime. Ryan Poles is staying busy, and the NFL offseason is fully underway. Please remember to hit that like button for me, and stay tuned. Until next time, bear down.